Hey, good morning YouTube. Today we're going to be working on a 2001 Buick LeSabre again. This time we're going to be doing a high pressure power steering line as well as the low pressure return line. The other day my mom was at the doctor's, and on the way home she realized she had no or lack of power steering, and that's because down here there is a high pressure power steering line, which you're probably not going to see because of how dark it is, but you'll have to take my word for it. So there's a power steering pump with the orange writing on the cap and the pulley there, and coming out of the back of it there is a high pressure line that connects to the bottom of it, which is probably right about there. I think I'm touching about where it's at. That rides over the top of the rack and pinion, and then it connects into the steering gearbox, which is way down there. So it's not very easy to get to. You probably can't see anything here. Let's see if we can get that to focus at all. But that's your exhaust that we can see. But once again, you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm going to try to get the best possible angles I can. This isn't going to be a step-by-step how-to video per se, but I'm going to try to capture like the key moments that are important. The first thing we're going to do, most of the power steering fluid has already leaked out, but I'm going to go ahead and grab a siphon pump here, and you can also use like an old turkey baster if you don't need it anymore. This guy basically just lets you suck out any remaining fluid out of the reservoir for the power steering pump. We're going to put that into a proper container, and to do that you're going to have to come back here and access that power steering cap back there, like I said, with that orange writing on it that hopefully you can see. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to get you on tripod and we'll get the process started. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to get this on camera. And I'm not doing anything crazy here other than just siphoning some fluid out of here. So we'll go down in here and take this cap off. See if there's any fluid left in there. Looks like there is. You're still going to get fluid that's going to rush out of here regardless whenever you are underneath, because there's going to be some residual in the line. That's just going to get the bulk of it. So we're just going to suck that right out of there, and then try not to make a huge mess here. We're already going to get fluid everywhere anyway, but and then we're going to put that into a pan that I have right here. Super cold out. We had a first freeze here in Pittsburgh last night. It's October, so it's definitely chilly out. Alright, I'm going to go back in and see if we can get any more out if we can. Definitely making a mess, unfortunately. Which is going to happen. I'm going to go to the car wash or get the pressure washer out when we're done here and take some degreaser and try to clean this up the best we can so we don't have power steering fluid everywhere from when that line went, plus from working on it. Okay. It's not going to be great, not going to be perfect, but I mean, at least we got that done. I'll try to clean up a little bit here. So we're going to be underneath here working, and you know, this isn't very fun to have power steering fluid dripping into your face. Just going to go ahead and put the cap back on, no reason not to. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and get the jack the vehicle up, support it with jack stands here, and get that going here so I can climb under it and start the dreadful task of trying to do this. Okay, so we're under the got the vehicle jacked up, supported with some jack stands. Remove the driver front tire here, the driver's side front tire, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up some hose clips that hold the hose to the subframe. And this way, once we do this, majority of this work is going to be done from under the vehicle then. But I want to get this first. So I removed the front driver's side wheel, and I'm going to try to get you in here to show you. So there's a clip right here that you have to pop loose. And this is for the low pressure power steering line. Fortunately, I can't really see what I'm doing here, but I should be. There, got it. Either broke it or got it, one or the other. So that's one. There's another one hidden over here. It's up front. It's behind this shield, but it's really hard to see. See if I can get you in there. You might just have to take my word for it, but there's a clip right around the corner here that you have to do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and break that loose, and then once that other clip is broken loose, then we can focus on getting under there and working on getting all this stuff cracked loose. So we'll go ahead and shut you off, get that clip loose, and then we'll take you underneath and try to give you some key points down there. Okay, so we are underneath the car now, and what we're looking at is from the right passenger side. So here's the passenger front wheel. There's the CV axle right here, and what you're looking at here is this thing that I'm hitting with the light at the very tip at the top of the light. That is your high pressure power steering line. That's our main culprit that's leaking. So eventually we're going to have to get in there and break that nut loose on the bottom of the pump. You can see the pulley to the right of where that line bolts in. I'm going to do that last because that's the not so difficult part of this job. But what we are going to have to do is come back here. This is the subframe here. You can see all the power steering fluid everywhere. This is where it routes. So you can see it routes, kind of drops down there, routes and around. See how it's all wet right there? That's where it's leaking. It goes up, and then in the middle of your screen you can see the line there. Goes over top of this transmission mount and then folds over and then somehow connects into the gearbox right there, which is the rack and pinion. So we're gonna have to loosen both of those fittings there, which they don't look very happy, but I have confidence we'll get it. And then if you look there between the two black things, you can see the silver line there. That's the low pressure line that has a compression fitting that converts into a rubber hose. That's where we took on the driver's side. See, there it is. That one's leaking too. See that? And it runs around town right there, and then it coils up. It coils up and runs there next to the front transmission mount. Runs through this bracket, down the right side, back and up, and then it just goes in with a hose clamp into the bottom of the power steering pump. So it's a fun job. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to figure out what size these are here on the on these two lines. I honestly can't remember because it's been a while since I did one of these. Try to get them broke loose so I can go ahead and do them, and because that's the most important part, is getting them cracked loose. I can't remember what size they are, 9/16 maybe. So what I'll do is I'm going to get a wrench up in there and I'm going to try to work on that. I don't think you're going to get much on recording, but I'm going to do the best I can, and then we'll go ahead and get started cracking on this. Okay, I have updates. So I got the bottom one cracked loose, that bottom line. As you can see, there's two lines going in. One kind of wraps over top the other one. I got the bottom one, this one here, to crack loose. It was an 18. It felt kind of loose on there, so it's probably not metric, but I didn't have any other wrench to get on there, so I got it to crack loose. That's the most important. The top one above it, I'm sure I'll get that loose too, but I got to get this bottom one out of the way, which actually is the one that goes to the return line. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shift places here. There's a shield here that you got to get up on top of, and there's going to be two 10mm fasteners. I can't even see them, but they're, trust me, they're up there. One's way over here and one's over here on the driver's side. Might be able to see them. I don't know if you can or can't because I can't see what you're seeing, but that's about where they are. It's usually easiest to get to them with a ratcheting 10mm wrench, and that way you can get in there and just get a good motion going and get that loose. And then from there, there's going to be this clip here. Here's a sway bar. There's going to be this clip here that we're going to have to pull the power steering line. It rests in that right there. We're gonna have to pull that out of there, but we got to get this shield out of the way, and I don't think the shield very easily comes out here. I think we just got to get it loose and then kind of push it forward, if I'm not mistaken, to get it out of the way, because you're not gonna be able to get it out of here with the exhaust and all this other shenanigans here. I just did the subframe replacement on this car. It's a darn shame that these didn't leak before, because I could have done them a lot easier with the subframe off the vehicle. So, but hey, you know, it is what it is. We got to do it, so no sense in complaining. So that's what I'm going to do next, is I'm going to just work on getting this shield off. And like I said, I'm going to get my 10mm wrench up there, get those two fasteners loose, and then just kind of push the shield out of the way. And then before we do that, though, I might as well go ahead and just do this part with you. So can't really see that good, but let me grab a screwdriver here, and I'm going to try to go ahead and crack these little fasteners loose here. I can't really see without my light, but I'm just trying to give you guys the best possible view. I think you just got to get in them and work them somehow like this. I think, yeah, there they go. Because we want to get that line out of this little clip so that it's loose. So we're going to go ahead and just do that for all of these here. Sure, there's a more dainty way to do this, but I'm trying to do it one-handed and film, so that's loose. I got a zip tie there. Same thing with this one here. This one looks a little different. I might have to get up there and fiddle with that one to get it to crack loose. Nope, there it goes. And I believe there's one up here somewhere that I got to get by the transmission mount, and then that line will be loose. Not much really holds the high pressure line. A high pressure line literally is just held in with this bracket right here, this little clip, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get into with one hand. I'll probably have to just pop the Christmas tree fastener. There we go. And we'll just take the whole thing off for now. Yeah, a little challenging, but we'll see what we can do. So hold tight while I work on getting those 10mm fasteners out of that heat shield. Okay, so we're back. Got that shield there, as you can see, loose, which then exposes that power steering line that goes up over that transmission mount there. So hopefully that will let us, the line should be loose now. It just sits on top here. I don't think it bolts to anything, at least I'm not sure yet. It doesn't feel like it bolts to anything. It just has like these little rubber things here that I'm spinning with my finger. That's what keeps it from pushing direct metal on metal onto the steering rack. The other thing now that I'm working on here is I'm cracking that bottom bolt loose there on the nut on the high pressure line. I got it cracked loose. I want to say it is a 5, I can't see, hold on a minute, 5/8 seem to fit on there pretty good. So I got it cracked loose. I got a long wrench here, and I am taking and using that wrench from, hopefully you can see it because I can't see. Yeah, here's the wrench right here. So I'm running a wrench through the side here from the wheel side to get a grip on that, and I'm just slowly twisting that loose. I'm also going to get a catch pan under here in just a minute so we can catch all this fluid that might come out. Okay, quick update. So I got that power steering line out, as you can see there. It's laying there in the bucket, or in the pan. That was a little challenging. So there's a wire here that has like a little Christmas tree clippy fastener that goes into this metal sheet heat shield that holds it in place. I think it's the oil pressure sending unit wire, but anyway, I had to really push this up forward, and then I was able to maneuver the old line through here, pull it down, and then kind of twist and pull it out through between here. It was a lot of fiddling, a lot of moving, a lot of shaking, and it was just not fun. I didn't record it, and I apologize, but it's just a weird shape, and you have to get it over the transmission mount. It does come out, trust me. So walk away from it, come back to it if it's frustrating, but it does come out. You just have to fiddle with this shield and maneuver things around, and eventually you can pull it through this section right here. Now, as far as up here goes, we are still working up here. I got that top line loose, which is right there. I'm touching it with my finger. 18mm seem to fit on it. I had to get a socket, an extended socket wrench with what they call a crow's foot, I believe, with an 18, and I was able to maneuver it through the side here over to that fastener. Eventually just had just enough room to break it loose. It's very, 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 very tight, but it is doable. So I got it. Now the nice thing about these lines is typically, as long as they're not completely corroded or rusted, once you crack them loose, they spin out pretty freely by finger. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then I'll be able to take this line here and fish it out and disconnect it up front. And then eventually we'll have to go over to the power steering pump again. And it is held on, if I get my light here, the power steering pump, there's a hose clamp. Let me see if you're in the view there. So there's a hose clamp right where the light is shining. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know, hopefully. There, I got the light on it. There's a hose clamp right there on that hose. You just got to take that clamp off, which is connected to this line. So we're going to work on that, and I'll come back with an update here shortly. Okay, I have updates. So I got all those clips loose and managed to rough house this out of the way. Disconnected there. I took that hose clamp off, the little nipple that sticks out the bottom of the power steering pump for the return line. Just used some basic angle, went up there and squeezed it and then pulled the hose back. That's the only thing that holds it on other than these clips that goes along the subframe. So now should be able to just give it a good yank and pull it all through here. So it can be a little challenging one-handed, but I'm going to try my best. It looks like it got caught up over there. I got some catch pans so that I'm not laying in power steering fluid. So you should be able to just pull this through. Let me move this in like so. Let that drain a little bit. Hopefully you guys are seeing something. Okay, move the pan forward a little bit. And now, come on, what the hell is it getting caught on? There it goes. All right, so that's one end. And then the other end, like I said, it's just on a wire. And it is good to go. So that's down. So now we can just pull carefully. Try not to get my blanket completely covered. Sorry for the bouncy camera, but as usual, doing this myself. Go ahead and pull this out. Okay, so there are your two power steering lines. It's a challenge. Sorry I didn't get as much recorded as I wanted to, but I'm doing this by myself again. Got the new line over here. Comes with the little O-rings. Got this door last. They had it at the AutoZone. I ordered it from Advance, but it was just taking too long. So I'm not going to record much further from here. It's basically the reverse of the removal. So I'm going to first put the return line in first, just because it is going to be easier to get that in because the line's above the high pressure line. So it'll be easier to get that fastener back into the gearbox without that other line being in the way. Snug it up, put it back on the bottom of the pump, and then I'll start working on the other one. I'll hit record whenever I think there's something important going on, but like I said, it's literally the reverse of what I'm doing there. So hopefully this much helps somebody at this point. Okay, we went ahead and finished the job. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but I needed to get this done today. So like I said, I didn't really plan to do a how-to video per se, but at least got you some key moments. So as you can see, there's the new cooler slash return line. It's all clipped into its housing there. Nice and neat. And then goes into this housing, this little clip here, clip there, and that's the big part there that sticks up. That lets the air going down the highway pass through. I still have to plug these clips back in there. As you can see, I didn't do that yet, and there's this one right here, which is by the axle. That clip also needs to be plugged or reconnected around it. Lines all back in. The hardest part, believe it or not, was getting this fastener here back into the power steering pump. I had a hell of a time getting that to thread in. I don't know if the thread was slightly damaged on the end. It looked fine, but eventually did get it in. And that routes up over top of the inner tie rod end boot, and it comes out back here. Let me grab a light, make sure you guys can see, hopefully. It comes back out right here. As you can see, there's the line right there. And it goes up over top of the rear transmission mount and comes back out right there in the middle of your screen, and then bolts into the steering box there on the rack. I was able to get both those in. 18 millimeters seemed to fit. Went ahead and routed. There's the, hopefully you can see that in the middle of your screen, the silver line there. That's the cooler line, and that runs, like I said, out, down, and around. So hopefully this video helps somebody out. I got that shield reattached there. Like I said, there's the 2 millimeter fasteners, one way over here and then one over in this section here. It's kind of hard to see it. Like I said, I found a ratcheting 10 millimeter wrench seems to do the trick with that. So we're gonna go ahead and leave this thing jacked up temporarily. I gotta push those clips back in. I'll do that here in a minute when I come back down for leaks without the camera, because I'm gonna need 2 hands. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up that power steering pump. There's actually a view of the power steering pump through there. You can see it with that white sticker on the back of that plastic thing. That's the pump reservoir. So we're gonna go back out and fill her up. Wanted to get a quick view here. You can see that new line there running right here. That's where it runs there. And then there's that clip there in the middle, and then that other clip is behind this plastic shield that it's hard to see, and I gotta replace that little push pin there. I'm trying to bend this actually in a little bit. I don't want it, there we go. I don't want it rubbing against the sway bar because it might make a rattle or cause issues. So that's back in place. So yeah, cool. So let's go up here and fill it up here. And I'm just using transmission fluid. I believe that's okay to use from what I understand. This is just the stuff I had in the garage. I mean, you could use power steering fluid, but I've used tranny fluid, no problem. You're gonna need a long funnel to get back there. So let me get you set up here. So kind of hard to do, but I need to get some fluid in it. Can't really see much. Try to get that at least started. So yeah, I'm just gonna fill this up, and then you're gonna want to start the car and turn it side to side, the wheel, and keep, you know, chalking it side to side, just turning the wheel back and forth with it running. Turn it off the vehicle and then check your fluid level again. You're gonna do that for a while to get all the air out. Okay, so we're in the car now. I went ahead and filled up the reservoir in the power steering pump with some fluid, and now we're just gonna go ahead and start it up. And then pump's gonna make some noise at first. I'm just gonna start working it side to side. This is gonna work the air out of it. We're gonna shut it off and we're gonna go check that level now, see where it's at. Hopefully we're not too overfilled or underfilled, or so you can hear that air that burped. Move that out. You can see a bunch of bubbles on there. All right, yeah, there's, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's pretty aerated, so, but it does need a little bit more fluid, so we're gonna top that off with a little bit more. Get our fluid here. Like I said, I'm just using transmission fluid. I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Doesn't need a lot. Maybe a little swig more. Okay. Our cap back on our transmission fluid. All like I said, I'll be taking this a little bit through the car wash, and I'm gonna power wash this and try to get some of this oil off of here. All right, let's put our cap back in here. Okay, get our light out of the way, start it up, and do the side-to-side clock. So I'm not going to go any further there. I'm going to go ahead and just get under it, check, make sure there's no leaks or anything underneath the car, make sure wherever I did the work, nothing's rubbing where it shouldn't be. If there's no leaks, I'm going to throw the tires back on. It's a good idea to check it in a day or two just to make sure the fluid's still at a good level. Check it again for leaks in a couple days just in case. And other than that, you should be pretty much good to go. Make sure you torque your lug nuts on your wheels. If you fiddle with the brakes, make sure you pump the brakes up before you go. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, not the greatest video, but hopefully it helps somebody. I went with the A Premium. I don't even know if this is the right part number, but I got this on Amazon. It'll probably outlive the car. Door last. This is the number here. It's the 92264 variety from the AutoZone. They actually had it in stock, which was a surprise because I went with that because, like I said earlier in the beginning, I wasn't able to get the line quickly enough from Amazon or Rock Auto to get the job done today, since I'm actually off work today. So, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to lower the vehicle back on the wheels, get everything buttoned up. I don't think there's really anything else to report. Take it for a drive, check the fluid, maybe in another day or two, check it again. Like I said, kind of a botched up video, but I didn't show you every single step, and I know I've said that a million times. I apologize. But this is the high pressure line here that was the culprit. It was leaking somewhere on this hose. I think around this middle fitting here is where it was running down. So yeah, very common problem on GMs, Grand Prix, LeSabres, Buick Centuries. All these high pressure lines leak. They all go bad. So to be expected. So nothing crazy as far as hand tools. The fastener for the bottom of the power steering line for the high pressure, that was a 17 millimeter, is what fit on there, in case anybody's wondering out there in the world. And then I was able to get an 18 millimeter on the fasteners going into the gearbox of the power steering pump to get those lines on. So, and the rest was all just pretty much, you know, screwdriver to pop some clips and take some little hangers off. And yeah, it's not an easy job. It's definitely I'd say an 8 out of 10 as far as difficulty for DIY in a driveway. So definitely much easier on a lift. But please rate, comment, subscribe. This video helped you out. Please share it. And thanks for watching. Take care, guys. God bless.